Hello, and welcome to episode 37 of Anime Territory. I am your host this week, Benjamin Shabbing, and with me as always is my co-host, Johnny, keep up the bathing Ruha. Today we will be discussing Porco Rosso with a special guest, my brother Corey. Hello.
Hello, how we doing, boys?
The one family member of either of ours that would agree to be on this show.
And who we've asked.
Yeah, I know. Maybe my brother Ben would come on,
Probably.
but we'd have to find something that he really wants to watch because he's not opposed to anime, but he'd much rather watch Star Wars or something.
Yeah.
So
Also be two Bens.
well, we've already had two Bens on the podcast.
Forgot we had pants on.
Yes, we're gonna have Bens as guests. I don't know what to tell you, but there's no way my brother would want to be on. My other brother would want to be on, or my sister. So.
But yep, today we will be discussing the film Porco Rosso. But before that, Corey, what's your history with anime?
My history with anime is very little to no experience.
Okay.
I don't know if this is frowned upon to say, but my earliest is probably Pokemon.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Classic.
That's about the only one I can think of, and that would be second generation that we watched on TV, first, second.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, and that's about the only experience I have with anime. I know animes. I know some titles. I've never watched an episode, a movie, or anything about them.
You ever watch other shows in the same Pokemon Saturday morning genre, like Yu-Gi-Oh or One Piece or anything?
I guess Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, we watched Yu-Gi-Oh. Don't ask me what time frame or what.
Yeah.
I don't know if they. Go
but that's
through. That's about the only one. Wasn't a big Naruto or Naruto.
No,
that would have been after you would have been interested in it.
So I never really got into that or any of the.
So the only other thing might have been
Avatar.
Avatar.
I know. It's in that style.
Yeah, the same style of anime. So
because I didn't get into anime until high school, and by that time, you were probably a little too old.
You're also much cooler than us.
No, I wouldn't say that. I was different interests for sure, but yeah, that's about the only experience I have. Is just kind of growing up. It was when I was really young and kind of watching it with you, Benjamin, and but I watched either YouTubers or Twitch streamers kind of talk about it, like the new kind of, I don't know if it's mainstream, but Attack on Titan, Hero Academia.
This is transitioning well into what we're talking about we would do at this point. So normally we have people list their guest list their top 10 favorite anime. At this point, we want to see if you can name 10 anime.
10.
We're not going to count Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh since we've given you those.
Man.
Well, you can count the other ones.
You can count the other two you just mentioned. So
Attack and Hero. It's not Titan. Oh, no, it's Attack on Titan.
Mm-hmm.
It's there's 3 or 4. I should have looked this up. I knew I was going to get asked this question.
No, I'm glad you did. That's great.
But oh man, if you would give me a name, I'd be oh yeah, that's probably an anime.
Okay.
But one you should probably know.
I know, and I cannot for the life of me. It's Attack on Titan, Hero, and then there's another one, and I just cannot think of what it's called right now.
Are you thinking of Sword Art Online?
I've heard of that one.
I mean, there's Dragon Ball. Have you heard of Dragon Ball?
Dragon Ball, yeah. Okay. I should have known that one. That's a little bit more of a mainstream.
There's one you watched the live action version of.
Oh, Cowboy Bebop.
There you go.
Yeah, very short lived.
Yeah,
but I did watch that for a little bit. I actually saw the anime version on Netflix, and I was gonna watch it, but I think I started watching probably Stranger Things or something. But yeah, that was another one I kind of got into a little bit.
That's a show that you don't really. Cowboy Bebop, I love. It's one of my top 10, I would say. It's not a show that I think goes well with binging because it's very episodic. So you kind of with a binge, you want a show that's going to hook you every episode and make you keep watching. And this one is all sort of self-contained episodes, which is good. It's just okay, I feel satisfied. I can go to bed now. I don't have to keep watching. But it's a show that I would gladly watch an episode of a week for the rest of my life.
I think I got to about episode 2 or 3, and I think I got busy with either school or something, and I never got to finish it. But it kind of reminded me of The Mandalorian in a way. It's the same kind of bounty hunter type.
Yeah,
I mean it's very, very
same concept, different
styles of
different styles, different themes is not the atmosphere.
Yeah, that's a good word for that. But that's about all I got into with.
Is that the live action that you're talking about?
Yeah, I got into live action, not the actual.
Okay. So you watched a couple episodes of the live action. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. But so we kind of figured, okay, if we're gonna get you on, it's gonna be kind of refreshing just have an opinion of somebody that is not steeped in the culture as much as I am or Ben is. So, because I would say that I'm super deep into it. Ben can go into the deep part of the pool, but he's still above water.
Yeah.
And you're
I got
dipping your
floaties
toes
on.
in the shower.
Yeah, I'm dipping my toes and hanging on to the side pretty well.
So it's just we thought, okay, let's get a perspective that's different than ours, and it just makes sort of a day. So we presented you with a bunch of movies,
Classic movies.
yeah, which I can actually go grab the list here, but go ahead and talk about why you picked out Porco Rosso.
Yeah. So I knew going into it, I kind of wanted something. I don't know if I would say like funny or like a comedy necessarily, but I wanted something I knew that I was going to be interested in and kind of. For my first anime, I didn't want a lot of thinking.
Okay.
Like, I didn't want to get into, like, the imagination or the, what was it, the body switching one?
Your Name?
Oh.
Your Name, yeah.
That one's not as complicated.
Yeah, I was just like, I didn't really want to get into something I'd have to think about a lot. I wanted something kind of simple that I could at least...
Dipping your toes in.
Dip my toes in.
It's a good thing you did not choose Paprika then, because that is a dream mindfuck movie.
It's like Inception.
Yeah, I
Except
did.
makes less sense.
I read the back. I read the back cover. That's all I read, and then
Yeah.
I was just like, this seems like a lot of thinking.
Yeah.
Well, see, you can go into it thinking deeply, or you can go into it the first time I watched it, which was really tired. It was a midnight showing at a movie theater in St. Louis, and I was like, I should have taken a nap or something beforehand, but I was like, just in that mode where I'm like, this is blowing me away right now because I am so lost and I'm just going with the vibe that. But yeah, the other ones that we had to choose from. So we mentioned Paprika, we mentioned Your Name, which I threw that one out there. I love this movie, but it's like super super popular. Lots. I think it's an easy gateway in.
Yes.
It's got a little bit of like time travel stuff in it, but it's not hard to follow at all. Then the other ones we had to choose from were Ghost in the Shell, which again is a little bit more of a thinker, but has also got some solid action in it.
It's like a
Academy Award winner, Spirited Away. Just like, okay.
That one, I'm kind of glad you didn't pick. That one, I think you gotta be kind of versed in the history or knowledge. Or...
That movie scared me as a child. They played it on Cartoon Network one summer, and I say child, I was probably like 10, but it's just like it's kind of creepy.
I watched that movie when I was first getting into anime, and I didn't like it that much. And then I watched it later after I got more versed with it, and it's amazing. So.
And then keeping with the Ghibli theme, we also had
this person also directed Porco Rosso.
Yeah, same director.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, while we're keeping on that director, we also threw out Nausicaa, The Valley of the Wind, which is his second feature-length movie. Yeah. But like the first one that was his original thing. Like he wrote the manga that it was based off of.
Okay.
And the movie he did before it was based off an existing IP.
It's a stellar cast, by the way. I just saw the cast: Uma Thurman, Patrick Stewart, Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf is.
I don't know if I would say stellar, but he.
Yeah, but this is kid Shia LaBeouf too.
Oh,
so it's
when
like
he was popping.
This is when he was good. Even Stevens type hype.
Yeah.
We threw out Princess Mononoke, which Nausicaa, Princess Mononoke, and Porco Rosso, probably some of my top 3 favorite Hayao Miyazaki movies. These ones are a little bit more adult than Porco Rosso. Yeah. They've got like anti-pollution themes and like pro-nature, balance between nature and what do you call it? Progress industry. Yeah. So you got a little bit more themes. It's a little bit violenter. And then also just another classic with Akira here, which again, I was thinking, okay, this one has got action, and they're all beautifully animated. I mean, we didn't pick any losers, for sure.
That was Akira was my second. I knew I kind of wanted to go into something that I would have known a little bit about, like Porco Rosso had the not really war theme, but like kind of like around that time, the Great War type theme.
Yeah, it's
history major me was like, I'll probably like follow it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Akira had a bike on the front, so I was just like,
Akira,
probably about racing and whatnot. But
Akira predicted the 2020 Olympics would be hosted in Tokyo.
Oh, really?
They did not predict that it would be delayed due to COVID.
Yeah.
But there's like,
was Akira a metaphor for COVID?
Maybe
could be.
They like the final conflict and the big explosion. Spoilers for Akira. A big explosion that happens at the end was at the Olympic Stadium. So, but yeah, it's like a sort of cyberpunk post-apocalyptic, not post-apocalyptic per se, but
more kind of dystopian. World in shambles.
Yeah,
that type of thing.
About kids in a street gang and.
Yeah, but that was your probably first huge anime that hit in the United States.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of it. I think you, Benjamin's talked to me about it before. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, this is
huge
one
influence.
of the bigger ones. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But,
well, like if you've ever seen a show where somebody does like a really cool bike slide where the bike goes like sideways, that is like a direct reference to something that happens in Akira.
Really?
It's been copied so many times. It's iconic. Like the only one I can think of right now is Batman the Animated Series. Had Robin do it once.
I think The Simpsons had Bart do it.
Well, yeah, The Simpsons has parodied everything. Though.
Yeah,
like that's. But yeah, like there's an iconic shot that there's compilations you can watch of. It's like, here's every time somebody's done this shot.
Yeah.
I don't want to segue away from this conversation, but
That's
like
fine.
just a couple questions I had for you guys, being like the first time I seen it was like when, I don't know if it was introduced to, like when was anime kind of getting popular in American culture, or is it? Do you believe it's not really like as popular as it's going to be, or?
I would say it's at a pretty. It's got peaks and peaks and valleys. The stuff like Akira, like some of the grittier movies like Akira and Ninja Scroll, those had sort of a cult following. Ghost in the Shell, they were big, and then Dragon Ball was crazy huge. It was, at least as far as Western audiences go, Cowboy Bebop. So like, there's a period. I would say like in the late 80s, early 90s where there are people that know about it, but it's sort of I got this DVD and you're going to have a lot less stuff. Yeah. But then Dragon Ball hits big in the late 90s. I was really into it in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like even because it was viewed as like a cartoon, but you could tell that there was something slightly different about it because it was.
Now, was Dragon Ball shown on Toonami, or is it an actual like Saturday morning cartoon?
It was shown on Toonami, but you have to remember that Toonami used to be on Saturday, or not. It used to be on afternoons.
Okay. And
then it's transitioned to being a Saturday night thing. But it would be on like other channels that. Well, I remember when I was like a teenager. And we finally got like Dish or something. We had a bunch of extra channels. There was it's a channel called like Colors TV, which was just like, would show different shows from different like cultures and ethnicities and things. But they would have like a 2-hour, 3-hour anime block. And it's like Dragon Ball was on there along with some other weirder stuff. But I was a kid when it was really big. But I think that influenced a lot of people our age. And then when I was about 12 or so, that's when Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece were really big. And now we're sort of in it's way more accessible now because of streaming. So once the internet became popular enough, people were watching shows, and we could have that argument of subtitles versus a dub. because people were throwing the subtitles up on the internet. You didn't have to have some weird imported DVD. You didn't have to watch what was on the kids show programming. You could watch other stuff. And then all those people that were our kids our age are now adults or young adults, and they're finding an audience online, which is why you see people like, was it Ninja that tweeted about Demon Slayer?
Demon Slayer, that's what the other one was. Yeah, that's the other one.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, so, that's probably where I heard it from. Tim the Tatman and Ninja talk about it a lot. And
so it's like those people, they were me, but they grew up to be light.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, they were little nerdy kids, and then they turned into handsome young people that the internet loves.
Who are still nerds.
Yeah, who are still nerds. And I would say Marvel probably helped with the rise of just being okay to be into nerdy stuff. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely, you're going to see stuff. I would say now we're at a pretty good peak, though it might be slightly on the decline. Not as far as quality goes, but as far as people talking about things.
Interest.
Mm-hmm. One of the movies we mentioned, Your Name, like that was talked about all over the place, 2016, 2017 era.
You'll get the occasional like huge hit where it kind of piques interest again, and then it kind of just dips a little bit more. But
I see.
And I may have blinders too, because like I'm on Reddit, I'm on a lot of different anime subreddits, so like I see it more. But I would say if we're talking mainstream, we might be slightly on the decline, but it's going to rise back up when like the Demon Slayer movie is made so much money, and it's a sequel to a show.
Yeah,
but like people would go see it because it's like, why is it making all this money? And it's good, but it's like, it's not as good as Your Name was. But it's one of the top selling movies of all time. So you'll see stuff like that where I don't want to like talk down on those shows, but they appeal to a wide audience and are popular for a reason.
Yeah.
And we like the philosophical stuff.
Yeah. Well, we like our favorite show last year was it was nominated for Anime of the Year, but you could tell it was the underdog because not very many people would talk about it. But I mean, I like the mainstream stuff too, and there's mainstream like Demon Slayer, and then there's the anime community mainstream. So like right now there's shows like Komi Can't Communicate and Love is War, which is what we just recorded an episode on this week. It's like everybody in the community is basically watching these shows, but it's not got that appeal to reach people beyond that community.
I know what you're talking about.
Because you've probably never heard of either of those shows.
Never.
But they are, constantly the most talked about shows each week. So it's just, I don't know. I'd say we're heading towards a valley right now, but something could peak again soon. So
let's see.
So, Porco Rosso, the movie we watched. First impressions. You want him to start, or do you want to start?
I can't give first impressions. This is like the 6th or 7th time I've seen this movie.
Okay. So, Corey, why don't you go ahead and start?
Yeah. For it being my first one, I really liked it. I think Johnny kind of said before, is like, this is kind of not really a childish, but a little bit more.
I showed this to
lighthearted. Yeah, lighthearted. Yeah, wasn't too serious. I mean, so I thought it was really good. I liked the whole storyline behind it. Getting it right into it, I was very confused on what he was at first. He was a bounty hunter pilot, correct?
Yes. Yeah. It doesn't help. It doesn't help that sometimes when they say pirate, it sounds like they're saying pilot, and that's vice versa.
At the end, they were saying pilot.
Yeah. Because they kind of got all together. Yeah. Theo. And then I was very confused when he went to the restaurant. Adriana. I knew it was something like that. And that he was the only pig face person in there. I'm like, Like, whoa, so...
Yeah, you're like, wait, you're just like, pig people must be normal.
Yeah.
And you're like, nobody else has a pig face.
Exactly. I'm like, oh, so they got, like, different animals or, like, different animal faces in here. And then everyone was a human, like, the singer, Gloria? Grace?
The singer?
Yeah.
It's Gina.
Ah! So, I was very confused, and then she said something about a curse. And then I was just like, we'll get into that later.
Sort of.
Again, we'll talk a little bit about that later if you want. But it was, I still don't quite understand how we got a curse put on him. But
it's not clear. The best explanation I can give is when he goes into telling the story of when all his friends died and he saw them like rising up into heaven, but then he was brought back down to earth. I've always taken it as that is when he was cursed. Because he was, sort of... He was the lone survivor. He was the one who ran away. And it might be partially self-imposed because he thinks of himself as a pig. And, like, the few moments where we get a glimpse of him maybe not being a pig are when he is, thinking of other people or, in those key moments. So... Was he cursed by someone, something? Did it just happen? Who knows? But I always took it as that story after that is when, like, that's because he says, like, maybe living life on Earth as a pig is the same as hell. So I have a feeling that it started from his feelings of guilt from surviving that battle. But it's all vague and, you can read into it however you want, but it's not the point of the story. Yeah. It's just let's have our main character be a pig man.
Yeah, because we can. I liked it. And then the American, I think his name was Curtis. Yep. Curtis something. Why was he in Italy or around there again? I kind of forgot.
So he was a pilot. He won like this race against like some really like famous Italian pilots. Yeah. And then I think he was trying to become... So that sort of gave him a level of fame. And he wanted to be more famous. So he's like, okay, well, I'm good with an airplane. There's racing. I've already conquered that. Dogfighting is the other thing that you can do as a pilot. The best dogfighter out there is Porco. If I can beat him in that, then I can prove... I can get even more fame. And I can still be like, I'm the best pilot, both racing and in combat.
Yeah.
And then he become president.
Yeah. And then he wants to become a movie star and eventually president. So he's really just a fame seeker. Yeah. So he's in the Adriatic Sea specifically so that he can find some way to challenge Porco and gain fame.
Okay.
And he wants everything that comes along with it, beautiful women and presidency and to be thought of as a writer and an actor. It's
I mean, he made that movie.
Yeah, he's an actor and a writer. Yes.
Yeah.
I saw that dinosaur poster.
Yeah, like a Jurassic Park with John Wayne type looking thing. Yeah.
Is it called Triple Voice or something?
Yeah, something like that. Triple Love. I think
remember. Triple Love is what I thought it was.
I think it was. I can't remember off the top.
I did not write it down. But
does that mean he's in love with a dinosaur?
Oh, that's a love triangle.
It's a love triangle: dinosaur, woman, and cowboy.
That's funny.
Look, if that doesn't end with the dinosaur and the woman leaving the cowboy, I'm not interested in the movie anymore.
They kind of hint, I don't know if I was just overthinking this, but the women were working on the plane because the men were away. Yeah. For the war or for work?
For work.
For work.
So they're like in a depression type area. War is imminent. Mm-hmm. So they have left Milan. Maybe they left the country too for work, but they're working and trying to send paychecks home to their family elsewhere where they can get jobs because working for that company, Piccolo, their family company, they just weren't getting any work in. So like,
I get it.
The fact that Porco, like they have the moment where they say grace before the meal, and they're like, "Thank you for bringing work to us when we're on the verge of bankruptcy." Yeah. So like the men could go away and get jobs other places, which is why. But obviously, as the time and history in real life will tell you, is that women weren't thought of as workers, so they didn't have that opportunity, but they had the opportunity to work for the family business. So
I get that. And then kind of going with that of war of so Porco left the Italian Air Force.
Yes.
Like dishonorably, or
I think he
He's a
might have run
deserter.
away after. He might have
deserted.
deserted after that.
After
battle,
that,
is my thought process on
he
that.
just
I don't
kind
know
of
the
didn't
exact
really want to
time
go
frame.
back to it. Probably of what he
so
saw
was,
or what he did, or
yeah, he was a deserter. So.
I get that. I think that's all the questions I had. The rest are kind of just comments. One of them we were going to talk about is that Brad Garrett kind of sounded like Chris Farley.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. You're talking like motivational speaker who lives in a van down by the river when he starts to get all riled up.
Yeah, he gets a little riled up.
Yeah.
Like
when he's really
Billy Madison. Doesn't he start getting a little riled up on the bus? Like, all right, everyone sit down. Like that's just all I heard was like Chris Farley yelling.
Yeah. See, like Brad Garrett's voice is naturally like that. His yelling is not that different from his normal talking. Whereas, I would say that Chris Farley and Brad Garrett don't sound anything alike.
Yeah.
But yelling, okay.
Yeah, I think
I
wasn't ever used to Brad Garrett like yelling. I was used to his Everyone Loves Raymond. It was just kind of like his monotone deep.
Mm-hmm.
Or he's in something else, can't remember. But it's just very like monotone. I was just like, I wasn't really. And then he started getting a little like not really higher pitch, but a little louder. I'm like, oh, you could have said that was Chris Farley. I would have believed you. So that's all I had.
Okay. We can go over my notes. My notes are all bullshit. So when he goes to see the movie, I wrote down that he dresses like a Ninja Turtle because he had the trench coat and the hat that's iconic for the Ninja Turtles.
Yes,
when they were going out in public.
See that,
I wrote that all the pirates look like Dr. Robotnik. They have a big nose and a mustache.
I could not remember his name. I was just like, he looks like either Wario or Dr. Robotnik.
Or Eggman, whatever you want to call him.
Eggman, yeah.
I wrote down that Porco's hideout is kind of... It's a dream living situation.
Oh, for sure.
It's just like a pond that you can swim in, and you've got a boat/plane, and just living on a beach in a tent. Like I would dig that. I'm sure it's terrible.
Radio reception.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's terrible, and I'd be like, I live in town, and I don't want to go buy groceries. I would not want to actually live there.
He has a plane.
Yeah, I know, but it's like okay, I could walk 6 minutes to a grocery store if I wanted, which means I can drive 2 minutes to a grocery store. And I don't even want to do that some days. You think I'm going to go in my plane and fly half an hour to 45 minutes? Just to go pick up what measly groceries will fit in the plane?
Yeah, I get that. And that is a dream dream scenario right there.
I'm hoping he's got a fresh water source somewhere. But
I'm sure
it's just
does.
like
the water over there is pretty nice.
Pigs can't drink salt water.
Pigs? I don't think pigs can drink salt water. I think they have to drink fresh water. But he might have some way of converting salt water to fresh water. Those exist.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just like that's the life right there. Which I guess while we're talking about Dr. Robotnik, there's some canons of Sonic the Hedgehog where he's got a similar situation where he lives on a game will start and he's just on a beach somewhere with Tails in their airplane. It's like it's very, very similar living situation at points. I wrote down all middle-aged men are pigs. I did not write this down, but I did want to bring up that better a pig than a fascist. He's got some great pig-based lines in this movie. And then I also wrote down we can talk about what this was based on. It was based on a manga, 15-page manga called The Age of the Flying Boat, which is written by Miyazaki, and it was just like put in like a plane magazine, and it's just him basically geeking out about plane designs that were sort of real and sort of stylized, and it had a pig man on it. So it's just like this throwaway thing he made for something.
Just for like an airline.
Yeah, for an airline. And it's just like, okay, let's turn this into a movie.
Another question I have is, what is, you say manga, is that the like written version of it?
So manga is Japanese comic books.
Okay.
So they are or more like graphic novels, I would say, but they're sort of that long running thing. A lot of anime is based off of either that or what's called light novels, which are just like middle school level reading, small books that are like 200 pages or something.
I see.
It's a lot of reading if you ask me.
Yeah. You said 15 pages, and I thought that was a lot. So
No, normal manga is like I
You can tell we're brothers.
Yeah. A normal manga might have 15 pages in one issue, one like chapter, and then they'll release a chapter a week or a chapter every other week for years at a time. Mm-hmm. So like I just read a bunch of manga that is currently on chapter 276.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so they're essentially comic books.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're coming out weekly / bi-weekly / monthly. Sometimes they go on hiatus, but it's just sort of prime for adaptation because a lot of people in Japan are reading them. So they'll adapt like one season of anime is typically 12 or 13 episodes, and it'll adapt like 20 to 30 chapters of something. I see. I don't know what that symbol means.
Stop talking. You're off subject.
Ben, we're introducing your brother to anime. I'm giving him necessary.
You don't need to talk 10 minutes about manga, and all you have to say it's Japanese comic books, basically.
Yeah. It's just
interesting.
Giving him the rundown of it. The difference, whatever. There's the difference between comic books and graphic novels, but it's neither really. So
I get you.
But yeah, that's going to be most of animes based off of that or similar things. That was really all the notes I had. I mean, I love this movie.
Yeah, what were your impressions, though?
Oh, my impressions? I love this movie.
Yeah.
It's one of my top 10 favorite anime movies. It's probably not the best anime movie. It's probably not the top 10 best anime movies, but I had a soft spot for it. It's like I'm pulling up my rankings right now for Ghibli movies because we've watched all of them now and ranked them.
It was a movie that kind of made me like giggle a couple times, just like a little kid, like haha, like and like made me smile. So I kind of like that aspect of it. It wasn't serious, it wasn't anything like that. So I think it was a good first one for me to watch to kind of get into it. So
I like its lighthearted tone with some very heavy emotional undertones to it.
Yeah,
there's a real emotional story in it.
Yeah, there's a good underlying emotional base,
especially through Gina. Mm-hmm. Like that was, I wish they would have gotten into that a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, and Susan Egan just is got such a sexy voice.
Yeah.
Like it's hard not to be intrigued by her.
I kept calling her Rose and like Rose Quartz. That's a joke. That you wouldn't get.
She voices a character called Rose Quartz in Steven Universe. Mm-hmm.
What else is she in? It sounds familiar.
The main thing that people know her for is that she plays Meg in Hercules, like the main lady.
Never seen.
But you've never seen Hercules, so
we've got 2 copies of it on VHS.
I'll take one home.
But that
could be the next podcast. Talk about Hercules.
But I think that's the main thing most people know her from.
Yeah, that's like her big mainstream role. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure she does voices in a lot of things, and I'm sure she's been in live action stuff as well. But
I see.
But yeah, my impressions. This movie's amazing. It's great. Again, as we've all said, has your lighthearted comedy, has that very good emotional beats, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, just all the
that's another
plains
reason.
And oceans and
landscapes. Like he was flying. I think he was flying low out of Italy. Just like the rolling landscapes. It was visually one of the best movies I've seen when it comes to animation.
Yeah,
it was just beautiful. I really like that part of it.
You're gonna see beautiful animation in anything that this director makes is gonna have beautiful animation on it.
You could tell he put an emphasis on kind of the beauty of either the landscapes or the movement of going from place to place.
Well, like a big thing we mentioned, he's just a giant geek about airplanes too. Yeah. Like almost all of his movies have some sort of like fantastical, either it'll be like a regular type airplane or it'll be some sort of fantastical flying machine with weird engines and wings and the things that work. It's just something that he works into to almost every movie he's had. Like he has a movie based off of a book, and based off of a book, Howl's Moving Castle, which does not have like any aircraft in it whatsoever in the book, but it's just like, we've got like 6 different aircrafts here. We've got the light flyers, we've got the giant warships, and the main guys, turning into the main wizard guy is turning into a bird to go stop warships, and he's also like very anti-war too, which I think comes across maybe a little bit in this movie.
Yeah.
But definitely comes across in the movie I just mentioned. But yeah, if you want beautiful animation, anything like this, that's why we...
Hayao Miyazaki. That's his name. Very famous. Probably the biggest Japanese director out there.
Yeah, so if we're talking anime directors, most certainly the biggest. If we're talking actual Japanese directors, maybe Akira Kurosawa would be bigger.
Maybe.
But
he's still
he would be number 2 then. Like,
all of his movies are fantastic. They're all made like this. They all look like that. Yeah. So
Porco might even be one of the less beautiful ones too.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I'm a big fan.
I'm just a sucker
I'm a big
for
fan
the
of.
ocean.
You're a big fan of what?
The ocean.
Oh, okay.
Just
I'm thinking
because you don't like the beach.
Yeah, I don't.
It's just kind of.
I just love the way. I just love the way he animates it.
Yeah, it's very. Yeah, I agree with that.
All of his plane movements. It's like watching Top Gun, man.
I'm so glad you said that, because I
Go
said him and Ferrari were like the Maverick and Goose.
Okay.
Of this movie, I was like, oh, it's like Mav. He gave me Maverick vibes in this movie.
Gotcha.
Just how he was like, it's like, oh, that was the greatest pilot we've ever seen. And then he's kind of like a rugged kind of bad boy.
I gotcha.
I've not seen either Top Gun movies, which I realize is a hole in my filmography here. But I get what you're saying, because he's just like, he's the best.
Oh yeah.
Porco Rosso is the best pilot.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And he is leagues above everybody else.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's. I don't know if we really want to go into the plot too much, but I guess I was saying that there are more beautiful movies of his out there, and I would say this is, while beautiful, not his most beautiful. I would probably give that to Nausicaa or Spirited Away. I had to guess for the
Spirited Away is the most technical, I think. Yeah. Where it's just I don't know how
there's more CGI elements in Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke, because they're a little bit older. There's a lot more hand-drawn stuff in the... Sorry, they're both newer. Yeah. There's a lot more hand-drawn stuff in Nausicaa, because it is just... but he also, is weird. He would farm it out to, different people that would do different scenes, and it was...
oh, yeah.
Because, all the stuff with the giant robot human thingy, that was directed by Eva Hideki. So it's just I don't know. But yeah, you're not going to get a bad looking movie with him. So maybe with some of the other Ghibli stuff that's not his, like his son does a couple movies.
If you want to get into anime, watch more of his movies. Hayao Miyazaki.
Which you should have our HBO Max password.
No, I didn't give it to him.
Oh, well, you can have our HBO Max password.
All right, there we go. Perfect.
It's your password, so I wasn't going to give it to him.
No, that's fine.
Perfect.
They're all on there. So
I'll have to try them out then.
And all the Ghibli movies are on there. He didn't direct. Ghibli is his studio. So after he made Nausicaa, he basically just has the top level animation studio.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's also just a very... He's sort of a polarizing figure at times. He does beautiful work, but he has some weird views on things. He's very there's a big push to be anti-grind in the workplace mentality, and he is not like that. He's very demanding of work and being he does that to himself too. It's not like he's expecting other people to do what he won't do, but he's just a very we need to get it perfect, and people need to work hard, and that can be a little conflicting. He doesn't like the people that like anime. One of his most famous quotes is, "Anime was a mistake," It's just like he doesn't approve of the type of shows that get made and are very mainstream in Japan because they're very, bottom pandering demographic sort of stuff that he's not a fan of. I don't think he likes American culture that much, which is fair.
It's fair,
yeah.
But it's just sort of hard to hear that he's just like he's very forward thinking in some areas. He's like super anti-pollution and anti-war, but he's an old man. Like he's got some things where he's set in his ways, and I think he walked out of the premiere of his son's first movie to go I don't think he meant it as anything bad, but he's just he left to go take a smoke break or something, and it's just it's your kid's movie.
Yeah.
But he's just sort of in the mind.
He also said he tried his best or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it's
like a backhanded compliment almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's
not even just kind of a backhand really.
So yeah,
he's a very, I would say, controversial figure because every movie he makes is amazing, but I just, the more I read about him, the more I'm like, he would not like me.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Lots of people don't.
90-year-old man.
Yeah. I see.
So
I get you.
But you want to go into plot just a little?
Yeah, I mean, go in the plot.
Okay. We have the opening. We start with him in his little grotto beach, just relaxing, sleeping. Gets a phone call.
Life.
Gets a phone call. There's pirates trying to rob a boat.
Some sort of boat.
Titanic type thing.
Yeah.
Really.
Cruise. One of them was a cruise line.
Yeah.
But anyways, he's called to action. He goes. He gets there late, so he has to follow him. You get the explanations yeah, those guys are cheap. They're going to stop here. So he goes over there. Saves 16 hostages, all little girls. I just found the scene very funny.
Oh, yeah. It
was a funny, just babysitter type, henchmen are kind of dumb and just type thing.
The little kid's cool skull, could use more blood.
Yeah.
I like the part where they're just in the plane and a girl's just holding a grenade.
I didn't see that.
There's so many little things where it's just
it's wow, you missed. He's better than you.
Yeah.
No, girls. Behave.
Just gotta love the pirates too, because they're just so lovable and dumb. Yeah.
They're so dumb, but they were very funny.
So that happens. He defeats them. He even gives them money to fix their shit.
Yeah, well, he doesn't want to go out of business.
Yeah.
No. We cut to Hotel Adriano, owned by Gina, and we see her singing in Italian, I'm assuming?
French.
Okay.
Because Curtis specifically says, better take her with me to America, though she's got to stop singing in French all the time.
Which, incidentally, we meet Curtis, who is so respectful during that song, telling everybody to be quiet.
He was talking during that song, too.
Oh, no, he was
beautiful. And then, the
reporters come in.
The reporters talking
listen
to
the song.
Were very loud. So he seats him down.
But yeah, we're introduced to Curtis. He's an American here to, basically hired by the pirates to take out Porco.
Yeah.
What else happens here? We're just introduced to Gina, kind of their relationship with Porco.
Yeah, Porco has sort of a table upstairs that is, I guess, private, and there's, he's been friends with her for a long time. They all had sort of the same friend group. She's been married to 3 of the people in that friend group, but they're all pilots and they all died. And it's news that the third husband of hers died to Porco at this point, so it's fairly recent. We learn that Porco wasn't always a pig man; he was human.
Yep. We
see a picture of him with a scribbled out face, and again, I think that's part of his self-imposed curse, in that he doesn't. He is the pig. He's not this.
He doesn't view himself as human anymore.
Yeah. So he doesn't want reminders of that.
Then we go straight to the pirates. All the local pirates are teaming up. They're going to attack the Queen of the Mediterranean. Which, I like that scene because it's attention, Queen of the Mediterranean. We are being attacked by sea pirates. But have no fear, we have 2 pilots to defeat them.
Enjoy the show as they gun down these people. Just say, we are being attacked by pirates.
Yeah. So nonchalant. And then you cut, and it's like, oh, that pirates won. They robbed the ship. What is it? While this is happening, Porco's trying to fix his plane. I almost said ship.
It's sort of a ship.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's a flying boat.
Trying to fix a seaplane. It's kind of busted, so he decides he has to go to Milan, Italy to get it fixed. On his way there, Curtis runs into him and he shoots him down. Thinks he shoots him down dead, but nope.
Yeah,
he survived.
He was hiding.
Mm-hmm.
He's on an island for 2 days. Catches a ride on a
tugboat. Yeah. Tells Gina, it's like, I'm not dead. I'm going to be in Milan. And she's like, are you crazy? They want you dead. He's like, it'll be fine.
That's where my mechanic is.
That's where he says, sorry, baby, gotta fly. Such a good one.
God, I love Michael Keaton.
Yeah. Then we meet the Piccolos. Is it just Master Piccolos, what they call him?
I don't know what they called him. I think they just call him Piccolo.
Brian
Piccolo? No. I got it.
Oh, thanks. That was a joke.
There's a different Piccolo that Johnny would know. I thought he was going to make that joke.
He's just called Piccolo.
Piccolo.
He looks like a Lou Piccolo.
Lou Piccolo.
Okay.
I like that.
Is that a Rugrats reference?
Luigi Piccolo?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Maybe.
Interesting.
Luigi Piccolo.
Mario.
He's Italian.
Yeah,
that's true. It's true.
But yeah, we go to Piccolo's. He's a... What do you call
Engine mechanic.
Engine mechanic. Yeah.
And
Basically makes planes.
His sons are all like airplane engineers, but they're all finding work elsewhere. So enter Fio.
Fio, 17-year-old granddaughter, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. She's gonna build the new plane for Porco, but he's like, nope.
You're a girl. you're young and you're a girl. She's like, well, I can't help being a girl. So,
but give me a shot, and I'll make it.
You don't need experience. You know that you said it yourself that being a pilot, it's not experience is the most crucial thing. It's intuition. Yes. So, and I've got the intuition to do this, even though I don't have the experience, and I can't help being a woman. But these are the parts where I'm like, this is the 20s. He's a misogynistic pig.
That's the character.
I wish he was a little bit nicer to women, but he comes to be a little bit nicer.
He comes
but
to it towards the end.
That's the most difficult part of this movie for me. I would say it's just
I just like how Fio kind of just takes it and is like, I'll prove you wrong.
Yeah. It's like I can't help that I'm a woman, but god damn it, I'm an engineer.
Yeah.
Damn good one at that. Yeah.
I'll prove you. So he agrees after seeing her designs, and they get to work building the new airship.
We're going to meet his extended female relatives.
Oh,
and 3 hags.
Yeah.
3 old hags.
Looking for what? Poker money, I think? Or
yeah.
polka or something? Yeah.
Poker money.
Poker money, yeah.
I don't think you need money to polka.
They said a trio of hags showed up.
And the trio of hags are here.
You're not dead yet? But yeah, we get that. Plane gets fixed. Porco... Sorry, go ahead.
Fio goes back with him. I think, yeah.
But yeah, Porco gets a tip from his Italian Air Force friend Ferrari saying, hey, they know where you are. They're coming for you. So he's like, all right, we got to go. Fio goes with him because A, to get the money that he owes them, and B, because she's the mechanic and she has to make sure the plane flies right because they haven't tested it yet.
And C, as a quote-unquote hostage, so they could tell the Italian military that the Italian secret police, they had to help him because he's got a hostage. So they can clear up the family from being, hopefully cleared them up from being jailed by the secret police. So
it seems like at the end they didn't get arrested.
Yeah. Because she eventually, at the very end, is like, and I'll lead the Piccolo Company. We make weird aircrafts all the time.
Make weird airplanes. Anyways, they escape Italy through the canal, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's a great sequence.
Yeah.
I do like that one.
And then, again, you mentioned earlier, they go through the Italian landscape. Got to fly low, get back. They get back. We see Gina. Sorry, Gina scene is where they're in the garden. Curtis goes there, basically proposing again.
Come to America.
Come to America. You have nothing here. Come with me and I'll be a star or whatever. She's like, no, I'm in love with a pig.
Damn it, if I had a nickel for every time that happened to me.
You would have no money.
It just meant pig in the general sense in that I like that girl, but she's in love with a pig. She's dating a pig. I've got no chance. He's a pig.
You'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird you have 2. But yeah, then Porco does some aerial acrobatics to say, hey, I'm back, bitches. Come at me.
Yeah, he's showing off.
Yeah. And then the pirates ambush his hideout.
Which, can we talk about that very quickly? There's no chance every single one of those pirates fit under that tent. That tent was very small. I mean,
it was a pretty big tent.
Unless they were in a big hole, I don't think they're fitting.
They could have been in a big hole.
Like an underground tunnel under
I don't think they did, but...
He has like a 3-story mansion down there.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
It was a big tent. That's all I'm saying.
Well, we see when they come charging out that, like, Brad Garrett's character gets, like, trampled.
Yeah.
So, like, and he's got footprints on the back of his jacket for the rest of the scene. So it's like, they were, like, stacked on top of each other. It's like sardines in a can in there. So.
I just thought that was
Where do they hide their planes?
Yeah. Well, didn't they all climb up the rocks?
Yeah, the cliffs.
The cliffs, yeah.
Okay.
So they were on the other side of the island there. So.
That's
we could have hit it in brush and stuff. Like, we saw Porco hide his plane.
Yeah, they don't seem smart enough to do that.
No.
Well, they probably saw one of them doing it, and the rest of them were like, oh, that's a good idea. Okay. Only one of them, they had that many minds, only one of them had to have the idea. It was, get enough seaplane pirates in a room with a bunch of typewriters, and eventually you'll get Beethoven the movie. You won't get Shakespeare, but you'll get Beethoven the movie.
We'll take Beethoven.
Yeah. So they basically go there to kill Porco, but then Theo stops them saying, you guys are seaplane pilots. You guys should have honor. You shouldn't just kill him. You gotta, like, earn it.
You're blessed by the land and the sea every time that you fly. So you're twice as honorable as regular pilots and twice as honorable as any sailor. And then appeals to their dumb, masculine, want to look good in front of a cute girl energy, which I can respect them for.
Yes.
Like they're simple, but I can respect that simplicity.
Mm-hmm. So they're like, well, none of us can beat Porco, and our contract with Curtis is done. And then, boom, Curtis is there. Yep. In the rocks, somehow. He
does a fun dive and land.
Superhero landing.
A little bit of a stumble, and then steps forward, So
and he's like, I'll do it for a price. I want to marry Theo. And Theo's like, done.
But if you lose, you got to pay all of his bills.
Yep.
And then when they leave, she's pissed because she's like, I should have padded those bills. He'd have paid us more.
Theo's great. I love Theo. Such a great character. But yeah, so they're going to fight. Winner. If Porco wins, Curtis pays the debt he owes, and if Curtis wins, he gets to marry Theo. Before that happens, though, we get, again, another beautiful scene where, first of all, Theo's sleeping and she thinks she sees Porco's human form.
That's afterwards.
She might have. No, that's after the bet was made.
No, I'm thinking, is that after he told the story? No, it was before he told the story.
It was before.
Okay.
Yeah.
She sees it and she's like, well, I'm awake now. I gotta have a story before I fall back asleep.
Because that's something all 17-year-old girls need before they go to sleep, is a bedtime story.
I thought we were going to have like a Fiona and Shrek type thing where like she just turns into an ogre, but it's like opposite where he turns into a guy at night. But then I realized he went to the bar at night. And that's the only time he goes. So I was just like, well, that was stupid.
It's just a curse.
Just a curse.
Yeah, it's more of a... And again, I think it goes into that self-imposed theory I have where it's like when he's not thinking about how terrible being a pigman is, and he's not constantly reminded of it, then it's not there. It kind of fades. You can see beyond the facade, but it's gone in a moment because now he knows he's being observed by somebody, and therefore he's thinking of himself again as somebody that is disgusting to people. Yeah.
So then we get the story of Porco's dogfight in the war. He's on a patrol. They get ambushed by enemy pilots. Brutal dogfight. Everyone in his squad dies. He's the only one left. He's exhausted, and then he gets like a dream state, basically, where he's flying up in the clouds. He can't really move, and then he sees just a stream of airplanes up in the sky.
Yeah, well, all the pilots that died in that battle, both friend and enemy alike, going higher and higher into the sky, and then him being like, "No, let me go instead." And why am I alive? Very much a survivor's guilt story of him sort of, what he saw, if he was hallucinating or if it was an actual vision from God kind of or whatnot.
First time I've kind of paid attention, I guess, what he says. It's basically, he was in that dogfight, he was only thinking of himself. So, like, he was in a fight with, like, 3 enemy pilots, but he wasn't thinking of his other allies or his friends, which I guess he thought got him killed because he was only thinking of himself, which is why I think he comes to the state where he's a pig. He deserves to be alone because he basically abandoned them. It's
that mixed with, I mean, you have a little bit of survivor's guilt, even if you did the right thing. Like, why did I survive when they didn't? So, beautiful scene, which, I really like that scene. I don't know what else to say. I can keep saying it's beautiful, I guess, but we've been saying that about this movie this whole time.
This is your big emotional scene where you get Porco finally. You see kind of what he thinks of himself and why he is a pig, or why he thinks he's a pig. Where he's like, his big quote was, "Maybe it was God telling me that I was a pig and deserved to be alone."
Yeah, or that being a pig on Earth is the same as hell. So, but Theo chose to saw the brighter side of it, and it's like, no, it's him telling you that it's not your time yet. Which, two ways of viewing things. Again, what did he actually see? Was he hallucinating? He definitely flew into a cloud, but was the rest just his brain trying to deal with the trauma, or was it an actual vision from God? Who cares? Doesn't matter.
After that, we get into the dogfight. It's in the middle of nowhere on a very small island. They make a big old deal about it. Everybody's there betting, drinking, all that.
I'm just thinking of that one guy. I've never noticed him before, but like when the planes come close to the island where people are sitting around and like the gun fires and there's like people are scrambling to get out of the way, and there's just one dude who's just sitting next to it, and the table right next to him gets shot up by bullets, and he's just like, yes.
That was the first thing I saw too. I was like, oh, the guy's just
which I don't know if that was intentional. It's like this guy doesn't give a shit, or if it was just like we can't animate everybody moving away. We'll just leave this guy in the same position.
One of my favorite parts about that whole sequence was Brad Garrett's character punching everyone and beating them out of the way when they take a photo with Theo. I just thought that was the funniest funniest part.
Brad Garrett's great in this movie.
He really is.
He does a great job.
He was very good in this movie.
They're telling everybody to shut up. They throw a grenade at the crowd.
Nothing like a grenade to shut people up.
Oh man. He's definitely a highlight of this. It's just every time he talks, I'm happy.
Oh yeah, I was the same way.
But yeah, we get the dogfight. Curtis kind of gets out in the lead first, but it's because Porco's basically letting him, trying to wear him out and try to get him
to run out of bullets, wear him out. So because Porco will refuse to shoot a pilot, he'll only shoot the engine. So
the dogfight, really good dogfight, great action. And then we, at some point, cut to Gina and she gets a message from Ferrari saying, "Hey, the Italian police know you're there. They're coming for you. Get out of there," basically.
Yeah, get them out of there. They're coming. So she's running off to go warn them. Meanwhile, Curtis is out of bullets, and Porco's one gun jams. He doesn't have a second gun because he had to take Theo with him, and her butt was too big, so he had to move the gun out of the way. And he's like trying to get it unjammed, and the lever that he uses to do that breaks off. Curtis is firing at him with a pistol, and then he throws the broken lever at him, and it's like, "Ha, you missed me, you can't hit me," and then it comes flying at his face. They're just throwing stuff. Eventually they land, and now it's moved to a boxing match. Bets are still on.
Rocky 7.
Yeah.
Yep, good old-fashioned brawl. Boxing, hitting each other. They're all bruised and beaten up.
Missing teeth, and though their teeth sometimes at some point naturally come back, but
towards the end of the fight, what is it? Curtis is like,
he can't have both Theo and Gina. And Porco's like, "What are you talking about, Gina? She doesn't love me." It's like, "She's been waiting for you this whole time.
She loves you, you pig."
And then they both go down.
With neck punches.
Gina shows up, and it's like, "Marco, get up.
Get up.
Get up." And he's like, "Okay." He gets up. He wins. He's the first one to get up, so he wins the fight there. And then it's like, "Anybody that's in trouble with the Italians should probably start running away right now."
And everybody leaves. Everybody.
Is that they said, like, "You might have a few respectable people here, but not many."
Yeah. But yeah, that's it, basically. Well, not it.
Yeah, there's a little... He puts Theo and Gina's plane, is like, take her out of here. Him and Curtis distract the Italian Air Force and fly circles around them and get away, and kind of build time for people to get away while they're doing that. We get a... what do you call it?
Well, Theo gives him a kiss right before she leaves, and then Curtis sees something.
Yeah, Curtis might see a human face there, but we don't see his face again in the movie.
His hands are very much human, though, I think.
Yeah, they were already very much human. Like, there are shots where you can see, like, fingernails on them and stuff. So, which is the first time I ever noticed fingernails.
I don't remember the fingernails. I just remember gloves.
His actual hands are out at some point.
When he was like close up of the cigarette, I think they showed fingernails. I think.
Okay.
There's a few times. Sure. Yeah. It's not very often, but
I know when
it's the first time I noticed it was.
I know when he's like looking at the bullets, you can see his fingers and everything.
Yeah. But Theo gives a voiceover. That's the word I was looking for. A voiceover outro saying, like, "Okay, it's our secret what happened between Gina and Porco. It's not my story to tell. I'm a famous airplane company owner. We design airplanes.
I visit Gina like every year."
Yeah. The pirates are old and they still visit there. And
I like that shot of all the old pirates. That was fun.
I love the line where Theo... This is earlier in the movie, but she's just like, "My grandpa tells me that everybody falls in love with Gina." It's like, yes, they do. And then there's a little bit of an after credit scene with we just see his airplane fly by at one point, so that's not a real scene. But yeah, I mean, I give this movie a 10 out of 10. I don't know, I have it listed as the 5th best Ghibli movie, the 4th best Miyazaki movie.
I mean, objectively, it's a 10 for me. I love this movie. It's probably more like a 9, though.
Okay, you can't say objectively it's a 10. And
is it subjectively it's a 10?
Subjectively, it's a 10.
I got the words messed up.
Yeah.
Subjectively, it's a 10. Objectively, it's probably like a 9.
Yeah. So, how would you... I almost called you Courtney. Corey, how would you rate this movie based... Well, obviously, you haven't seen very many anime movies. Yeah. So, how would you rate this based off of regular movies that you see?
Off of regular, I would probably go... I'd probably go 8.
Okay.
I've watched a lot of good movies. I've actually took film as lit in high school, and that's where I started the appreciation for movies.
That's probably where you started watching.
Yeah, so I'm a little more of a critic for some movies, but like we were talking earlier, I mean, the beautiful was it cinematography?
Cinematography.
It was beautiful. So that part I'm a sucker for. The plot was good. The acting, well, not acting, but the storyline was good. Everything about it was good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would be like, oh, it's my favorite movie ever.
No.
Obviously, anime movie, yeah, because it's not 1 out of 1. But but like,
it's like maybe you've seen the Pokemon movie, which is a pretty solid movie.
Yeah, with Mew and everything.
Yeah,
that was a very sad movie too. But yeah, I'd say it's probably an 8 compared to others. Like, it's up there for me of like Silence of the Lambs.
Nice.
What is the other one? Shawshank Redemption.
Okay.
2 very good movies.
Mm-hmm.
Just like beautifully made. So I think it's up there. Maybe a little less than those 2. Those 2 are some of my favorite movies.
Yeah, those are
classic.
classic.
People love those movies.
Yeah. I really liked it. Like I said,
That's good.
It's a small sample size, but I'm a sucker for those kind of lighthearted.
We may have to go up a notch maybe next time.
Yeah.
See what you think, but
yeah, let's do it. I like it.
Sorry.
I mean, we're 5 minutes past Frag Time.
Okay.
Which Frag Time is a 1 hour movie we watched with lesbians that can freeze time.
Yeah.
It was an okay anime movie. But so basically our goal in our podcast is to at least try to hit Frag Time, which is an hour. So we've reached the goal there.
Awesome.
This is also the second podcast we've recorded today. So
yeah.
It's like I'm just glad Ben hosted this one because I'm like I don't have the energy to host.
That's fair. That is fair.
So yeah, I think we're wrapping up. Great movie. You guys should go watch it. It's fantastic. And that's it.
Corey will have to have you on again. But you can follow us on Twitter at anime_territory. Sometimes we stream at twitch.tv/Dominigoku. We're on YouTube as Anime Territory, and pretty much any podcast platform you can think of as Anime Territory. So, if you like this, we just talked about all 3 seasons of Kaguya as our last 3 episodes. I don't know what we're gonna do next. Eventually, we want to get our friend Dylan back. He's been itching to do a show, but timing with him is always hard. But yeah, we'll have to have you back on either as another Miyazaki movie or something else comparable here, Corey.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it. Glad I could enlighten you in a beginner's road to anime. So cool. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for joining.
No problem.
You are now leaving the Anime Territory.
Goodbye.